All right. Good morning, loves, or good evening, depending on where you're at. So glad that you're joining us today for our reading of Warrior Goddess Training. Come on in. Yay. So I'm HeatherAsh Amara. I'm the author of Warrior Goddess Training, and this book was published 7 years ago. Happy birthday, Warrior Goddess Training. And I want to thank especially my publisher, Randy Davila of Hierophant Publishing. And to let you all know, if you don't know this yet, that the book is available everywhere. And right now on Amazon, it is 99 cents for the Kindle version. So that was just a lovely surprise that they have it on sale right now. So 99 cents for the Kindle version. You can read it anywhere. And you can also gift it. This is such a good thing to gift. So, and also the hardcover, or I'm sorry, the paperback, also a good thing to gift. So planting seeds. Good morning. Okay, and I have no, I wasn't going to do the giveaways. Buenos dias. Hello, Lidovina, Linda, Doreen. Good. Who else is here? So as you're joining, please feel free to share in the chat where you're tuning in from. I am now in Las Vegas, New Mexico. Hey, Amy. And just got back from my friend Ginny's ranch. Michelle Klaus, hello. And we will start reading in a second. Yay! So we're moving into Ground Your Being lesson. We're moving out of Ground Your Being lesson 4, and moving into, let's see, lesson 5. Energize your sexuality and creativity. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, loves. Awesome. Glad that you're here. So I have a few of these left. Look what we've got. Aren't those great? Yay! So I'm doing a giveaway on our mailing list. So if you want to join the mailing list, you'll get put into a drawing to get bumper sticker, books. I'm going to do it like a grand drawing at the end of, when we finish reading. We're halfway through. We're moving into lesson 5, a little bit less than halfway through. So if you're not on the email list yet, please go ahead and join. You can just go to warriorgoddess.com. All right. Buenos dias, Aliyah. Thank you, Carmela. Hey, Ramiz, Sherry, Karen, Julie, Salem, Oregon. Hello, Ginger, too. Christine, Renee, Delphine, Frouch. I'm probably way pronouncing your name wrong. I love your name. Illinois, Elaine. Perfect. Ashley. So if I'm not reading your name out, hi. It's probably because you're watching later. Hey, Jasmine. So, and also, or Jasmine, I love that. Also, sometimes on YouTube, the chat doesn't come through. So, Freyok, thank you. Freyok, beautiful name. All right, loves, let's dive in. So, before we get started, there are 10 lessons in Warrior Goddess Training. We have been reading from the book for the last 3 weeks plus now, and we will continue till we are done. Lesson 5, it does. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's great. My family's from Scotland and Ireland, so good morning. I love it, Julie. The first 4 lessons: commit to you, align with life, purify your vessel, ground your being, we've read. And we will now step into lesson 5, energize your sexuality and creativity. And just a heads up, for some people, this is a really challenging lesson. It's also really important, as you'll see as I'm reading it. So hang in with me. You're always welcome to ask questions as well. Here we go, lesson 5. So I say, if you are burning, burn. If you can stand it, the shame will burn away and leave you shining, radiant, and righteously shameless. Elizabeth Cunningham. When I first started on a warrior goddess path of healing, I was initially very resistant to even looking at my beliefs on sexuality. In my mind, I was on a spiritual path, and I did not have time to waste on such trivial things as healing decades of gunk around my sexuality. I'm just fine, thank you very much, was my motto when it came to sex. But when I unwound the knots and mended the leaks of my own internal sexual flow, I did myself the kind of favor of returning my own energy to myself. I'll share more about my journey later in this chapter. First, let's get an overview of the terrain we'll be walking together. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Cindy. A tremendous amount of confusion, fear, distortion, and wounding resides around the topic of sex in our culture. Many women have been wounded in some fashion by sexuality, simply by being surrounded by so many advertisements showing us what it means to be sexy, and so many old school taboos on women being sexual is detrimental to us claiming our own body and sexual nature. There are many ways that we squash our sacred sexual juiciness. We are taught so many stories around our sexuality. It is dangerous. It will get us in trouble. It will get us hurt. We will be rejected. We will be seen as promiscuous. It is too much. It is not enough. I'm too old for that. Sometimes when we start on a spiritual path, we consciously or unconsciously bypass looking at our sexual nature, believing it will hinder our growth. On the warrior goddess path, the opposite is true. Becoming the woman you are meant to be requires a re-evaluation of your ideas of what sexuality is. Let me read that again. On the warrior goddess path, the opposite is true. Becoming the woman you are meant to be requires a re-evaluation of your ideas and beliefs around sex. Many people are confused around what sexuality is. If you listen to other people's stories about sexual energy and the stories in your own head, you will hear two interesting core fibs. Okay. One is that sexuality is dirty and sinful. To encapsulate this little white lie, your sexuality must be controlled or you will become like an animal, humping everything that moves and destroying civilizations in the wake of your carnal lust until you burn in hell forever. You may laugh, but it is somewhat horrifying how much of this we each carry within us. The second fib is that the only way to get anything in life is through wearing your sex on your sleeve. To encapsulate this second little white lie, in order to be popular, noticed, appreciated, find a mate, and obtain material possessions, you must exude copious amounts of sexual come-hither vibes and wear scant clothing that shows off your wares. For more information, open a magazine, look at a billboard, or turn on your TV. I invite you to toss all your stories about sex and everyone else's stories about sex into the nearest trash can. Now, let's start from the beginning with the information I wish we had all learned in a loving way sometime before the 3rd grade. First, sexual energy is a potent force of nature that flows through the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and through you. It is purest snow, core energy that dances through all 2-leggeds, 4-leggeds, creepy crawlies, swimmers, and every plant from seed to blossom to fruit. It's not wrong, dirty, immoral, or amoral. It is a central driving force of creation on the planet. Good sex takes us out of our mind and into the beautiful pleasures of the body. It liberates constrictions and blockages, and it softens our habitual armoring. Great sex blasts us out of our personality and into our soul and our connection to all of life. Sometimes it is hot and insistent like fire. Sometimes it flows like the ocean on a windless day. Your breath enhances its playful power, while your fear and stress shut it down. Your sexuality is one of the divine's best gifts for you and the lucky people in your life with whom you choose to share it. Sexual energy forms the deep roots of your creativity and passion. It is the flowering branches of sensual enjoyment of your body and senses. Your sexuality is sacred, and it is highly individual. All types of sexual expression are beautiful when there is conscious consent. Learn about your own sexual flow and energy first, and then play with others as you feel guided. Never do something you don't want to do. Stay with your experience and pacing, not another's desire or need. Sex is not a prize to give out or a weapon to withhold. Being a warrior goddess does not mean being pious or non-sexual. Being a warrior goddess is about having full access to all of your energy, including your sexuality. The high priestess in the tarot is called virgin, not because she is asexual, but because her sexuality is for her. She is sovereign. This means that when she is sexual with others, she does not court or allow herself to be courted. She does not use her sexuality to manipulate or hook other people. She is never sexual out of obligation or caretaking. Her sexuality is sacred, and she loves her own fire. Her path is about igniting her passion for her own sake, honoring her sexual nature, and healing, clearing fear or beliefs that dampen her access to her life force. This does not mean you must be in a traditional partnership. You may be married, and you may choose to be celibate. Give me 1 second. Don't know why we lost the connection to the camera. Ooh. Interesting. There we go. Okay, we're back. All right. This does not mean you have to be in a traditional partnership. You may be married, you may choose to be celibate, or be in a time of not being in a relationship. You may have lovers or friends you can explore with. When you're learning how to tap into your sexual energy, it makes no difference whether you have a long-time sexual partner. Apologies, don't know why this is doing this. Enter studio. All right, let me try flipping over to this camera. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, good. Yeah, and then we'll, I think this will work now. All right. You may have lovers or friends you can explore with. When you're learning how to tap into your sexual energy, it makes no difference whether you have a long-term sexual partner, no lovers, or dozens of lovers. Your goal is to reclaim your sexual life force in the way that is right to you. 2 areas to attend to around your sexuality are your body image and fear of power. If you're ashamed or uncomfortable with your physical form, this can have an impact on your connection to your sexual flow. All right. I think we're going to pause there. Yeah, let's pause there for now. Yeah. So this is a big, big topic. So we'll just go in a little bit today. And just to emphasize, reclaiming our sexual energy is not about how or who we're sexual with. It's about having that life force energy available for us, because that's your passion, your creativity. That energy is really important. And a lot of us are deeply wounded around sexuality. Some of us have sexual abuse. Many of us have sexual abuse, whether that was as young children or as adult women. So there's a lot of challenges around this. And there's also a lot of incredible healing that happens when we reclaim our sexual energy. So I'll share more about my journey with it later in the chapter. For those of you that are just joining us, we're reading Warrior Goddess Training. We're on lesson 5, which is Energize Your Sexuality and Creativity. And we will tune back in tomorrow. We're now on page 64. And we're going to talk a little bit more about running experiments, healing, what that looks like, and creativity. All right. So, okay. I know that there was some question. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, there's a lot of wounding around sexuality. So, yeah, yeah. Yes, back again. So Sakina wrote a great question. What is sexuality, please? So and it's a really great question because that's a basic question, which is foundational. So there's a difference between sex and sexuality, and there's a difference in what we often talk about as sex and what sex for me actually is. So, and sexuality, all of those things are connected, and all of them are creative expressions. And so sexuality is our connection to our sexual life force energy. And it is our choice of what we do with that energy. So that sexual life force energy, we can choose to have sex with somebody else. And that definition of sex is really broad. So what we've tended to think of as sex is intercourse. Like that's kind of what we've been taught, like sex is intercourse, which is not true at all. Sex is intimate connection with other humans, touch, taste, smell, all the things. And it's that physical connection that, and also energetic connection that doesn't have to result, it doesn't have to look any particular way at all. So there's no one way to be sexual. There's no one way to be in relationship with your sexuality. Again, just to emphasize that what we're talking about within this chapter on energizing your sexuality and your creativity is reclaiming your sexuality for you so that you can pull that life force energy in and then choose what you're going to do with it. So it may be you have connection to that fire and you put it into your creativity. You put it into your art. You put it into your mothering. You put it into your gardening. Okay? Or it might be that that energy then connects with another human or not. But we really learn how to honor and respect this really healing part of us that, again, has been so wounded. So for those of you that have incest in your past, that have sexual wounding, just know that you can heal, that you don't have to carry that wounding with you, that you're not broken, that there's ways to gently, gently, gently reclaim your energy. And usually kick other people's energy out, because a lot of times when there is really in a lot of sexual relationships, we carry a lot of other people's energy around that is not us, that we get to clear out. So we'll talk about that more later in the chapter. Yeah. Yeah, Cindy, it's so true. My sexuality is directly linked to my creativity, I have found. When I'm grounded in my sexual energy, I get the best ideas and motivation to create. It's so true. I really noticed this link. I worked at the Renaissance Fair in California for a couple of years, and I did massage. And we were right next to the belly dancers. So the belly dancers were like right up the hill, and our tent was right. So whenever 5 o'clock, the belly dancers would come on, and I would feel that just yumminess of the hips moving and the music, and it would always raise my energy. And I would feel this sexual flow happen. Again, not like I'm going to give that to anybody, but just like, yes, there's energy here. And those massages were always the best massages because I was super connected to my body and present. And it wasn't about using that sexual energy at all. It was about me holding it and honoring this fire and then gifting my presence, my creativity to the person that I was working on. Yeah. Hey there, everyone. Yeah, it's such a gift to reclaim this part of us. So important. Energetic baggage of sorts. Exactly. Freyok. It's an intense thing. Yeah, and many of us are afraid of our sexual power because, that myth, there's often two myths, and this is something important for us to understand, that there is, there's the you have to be virgin, you have to be pure, and you have to not be sexual that we get messaging around. And then we also get messaging around you're supposed to be really sexual. And if you're valuable or if you're going to be loved, then you have to be sexual. You have to be like really promiscuous or really scantily clad. And that's what sexy is. And that's just bullshit. Like, it's not true that that's what sexuality is. And there's also this fundamental sex is bad, especially in spiritual communities. Well, I shouldn't say that. We can also split it if you get onto a spiritual path. This is what I did. I was on a spiritual path and I just negated my sexual energy. That wasn't part of my spiritual path until I realized, oh, I'm cutting myself in half, literally. So I needed to mend it, to bring it back into alignment again. And there are these deep beliefs that if we're sexual and sexuality is bad. So yeah. And absolutely for massage, when you've been molested or when there's been incest when you're young, it sets up a super challenge from your sexuality from the beginning, and it can be healed. It just takes time and persistence. Yeah. Carmela, I do massages for a living, and it's very true. If I'm blocked, I don't give a good flow. Yeah. And I've talked to many healers and massage therapists that actually are blocked because, one of the things that you're taught when you're a healer is that you don't put sexual energy into your healing, which I completely agree with. And what I don't agree with is then you just cut it off. So I talk to a lot of massage therapists that are burning themselves out, or healers that are having a difficult time continuing to do their work because they're getting burnt out, because they're feeling dry, because they don't feel like they have the energy. And whenever I then talk to them about sexuality and plugging back into their sexual flow as their life force energy, boom, everything shifts. So it's not about cutting it off. It's about honoring it and being respectful. That energy is for you. And then you take that life force energy, that creative energy, and that gets to go into the different things. Yeah, exactly. Great, Lent. Love it. Donna. Cherie, I'm a tattoo artist. I'd love to hear what the rest of that sentence is. Yeah. So we'll keep talking about this as we continue forward with the chapter. Those of you that are just joining, we're reading out of Warrior Goddess Training. We're on lesson 5, which is Energize your sexuality and your creativity. Big chapter. It's the turning point of the book, right? And where are my chats removed? I see you, Marissa, so not sure. And sometimes, again, YouTube's a little funky with the chats. Remember, y'all, that I'm broadcasting to about 8 different platforms right now. So sometimes the chats don't come through. I promise I'm not ignoring you. Sharing energy. Okay, thanks, Cherie. Good morning, Georgette. Yeah, Cindy, I'm a massage therapist, 21 years now. Wow, that's a long time to be a massage therapist. I understand burnout, but when I revisit my core primal energy, bam, everything flows and fatigue abates. Exactly. So you found that connection. And this really, the previous chapter that we read was lesson 4, ground your being. We need to be grounded and connected to the earth, and then we need to pull energy up. So the next 3 chapters that we're working on, that we're reading around lesson 5, Energize, lesson 6, Strengthen Your Will, lesson 7, Open Your Heart. These are all around inspiration, how to bring more energy into your system. Okay, really important. All right. Good. Well, Doreen just wrote, I don't even remember, I think I remember how to move my hips. That's a good place to start. It's just I'm on a rolly ball. You guys see I'm on a rolly ball. Just start opening and moving and just breathing into belly, genitals. Hello, how are you down there? That's all you have to do to start. Okay. It's a great place to start. Really slow, really, really slow. And having been on this journey of really, really having repressed my sexual energy, of seriously cut it off, to have done the work that I've done, and it's been a lot. I mean, I've done a lot of things over the years to reconnect. You know, people are often like, how do you have so much energy? How do you have so much enthusiasm? How do you? Part of it's because I have access to that life force energy. It's really our vital core, and it shifts our relationship with ourselves and with everyone. And it doesn't mean you have to be sexual. I know people who are celibate, who their connection to their energetic flow is amazing. Okay. And they've been celibate for years. So this isn't about how or who you're sexual with. This is about reclaiming your energy for you. I love it. Yeah. Very slow. Yeah. All right. Beautiful. So any other questions or shares? I have a big, oh, there's Marissa. There, I see you. Okay, so Marissa, you wrote earlier, I know a great deal of damaged, unhealed artists who produce exquisite art as they are involved in a small sick community. I don't quite understand what your question is. And so this is telling me great artists have healed. Not necessarily. So there's a lot of tangles around sexuality, and we're navigating a lot right now around this. The Me Too movement really has brought up what, I think women have known forever, which is that there's a lot of sexual abuse in a lot of different industries. And I was just reading about R. Kelly, who's a musician that was just sentenced as guilty on all 9 counts around a sexual abuse. And fraud and trafficking women. And that stuff was just not talked about. So, I think this is an interesting thing, is that we have to understand that the artists that create beautiful things may be super damaged. Does it negate completely that what they create? I don't think so. But does it necessarily mean somebody who is famous or is well liked is super clean or not damaged? No, there's a lot of shit going down around sexuality and people being abusive. Artists of all sorts, humans of all sorts. So this is an untangle that we're doing. And the Me Too movement is incredibly important at this time, where it's getting brought up so that we can heal it. And for me, the healing is not about, that's the perpetrator, it's their fault, this is the victim, it's their fault. Like we do that to everybody. To not go into blame or shame, but to go into, this is a larger problem. Anytime we see sexual abuse happening, it's not separate. It's part of this larger healing that we're doing as a collective around our sexuality. And whenever you repress sexuality in any way, it comes up sideways, which is when you have the abuse. Okay. Or when it's seen as being evil or yucky, it doesn't just go underground, it comes out sideways. So I could talk about this a lot because I'm super passionate about it. Yeah. Okay. And loves, we are back to spammers coming. So please be really, really aware that whenever I start doing these live casts, people start showing up, and we'll be offering you readings. We'll be offering you healings. It's not me. Please say no. All right. So I just blocked. And sometimes they'll go into your messaging as well. So please just delete people, block people and delete people. Okay. Freya, I'm not celibate, but I do enjoy my own sexual experiences. I use my mind during meditation to achieve what I want. It helps tremendously. It builds up sexual energy that I choose when to and when not to release. It took many years to be able to do this after having been raped. Trauma takes a long time to get over. Thank you so much for your share and your vulnerability. It does. And it is that, like you're saying, of like staying with yourself through the healing. And I love that you have done that tremendous inner work to allow yourself to access that energy in meditation and choose where you want to put it. That's power. So beautiful and gentle. So for those of you that are listening, that are like feeling like, oh my God, I have to now go heal my sexuality, or I'm wounded, slow baby steps. Let your body guide you. get good support and slow. And we'll continue the chapter. So if you want to get a copy of Warrior Goddess Training, I believe it's still 99 cents on Kindle, Amazon, and you can read it anywhere. So you can read the rest of the chapter where there's different exercises as well. Slow, my loves. And I'll give some resources at the end as well. I know, it's so true. Yeah. Many women don't even consider abuse abnormal. It's true, Andrea. They don't even realize. Shell, writing poetry moves me through the layers to integrate, slow and sticky sometimes when I hit those trauma points, but it works. Oh, I love that, Shell. Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Never give up. I agree. And I love Freyok. It took 20 years for me. It takes whatever it has. Sensuality over sexuality. I've been able to do this stuff until I transition from a sexual relationship to intimate, complicated with a man to start a business. Yeah. We get to dance. There's no right way to be in a relationship. We get to choose how we dance. Keep our sexual flow open for us. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And while we're on taboo subjects, I need to go, but I'm just going to plant a seed here. Warrior Goddess Training. Actually, I'll plant the seed tomorrow. Remind me. I'll talk about this tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. So tomorrow, same time, wherever you're tuning in from, whether that is YouTube, one of my Facebook pages, the Warrior Goddess Training page, the Warrior Goddess Women group, and you're all welcome to join that. If you're not part of the Warrior Goddess Women group, it's a wonderful closed group. Also the Hierophant Publishing page and Warrior Goddess Training. And what else? Oh, and also our circle. So the Warrior Goddess Training Circle. So before we close, I want to do one more invitation into the Warrior Goddess Training Circle. So the circle is our membership circle where we do a lot of deep dives into the teaching. So it's where we take the lessons from Warrior Goddess Training and really bring them and integrate them into our lives. Tons of tools, incredible community. Right now, it is free through November 1st. So if you want to come try it out, feel free to join us in the Warrior Goddess Training Circle. We just did a deep dive equinox retreat last weekend. Everything was recorded, lots of just amazing content that you can go back and access at any time as long as you're a member. So again, it's free through November 1st. After November 1st, the subscription is $97 a month, which, as you will see, is a really incredible price for all the content. It's the price of one therapy session, and it's so much. It's not better than therapy, definitely not better, but you can get a month worth of deep sisterhood support, guidance, holding for the same amount as having a 1-hour session with somebody. So do both. Would love to see you. Oh, I love it, Marissa. That's great. To join the mailing list, Amy, warriorgoddess.com. Just go down to the footer. There's a pop-up, or you can go down to the footer and just put yourself in. Okay. So for those of you that are just joining, we're going to be doing a drawing for Warrior Goddess stickers, for books. I'm going to create a big package. We'll do a drawing when we finish reading. And so anybody who's on the mailing list, we will put them in the drawing. So make sure you're on the mailing list, warriorgoddess.com. If you want to check out the circle, that is www.warriorgoddess.com/circle. If you want to join us for that free trial, the coupon code is YAY. Boop. All right. warriorgoddess.com/circle, coupon code YAY. No obligation. You can cancel it anytime. We just love for you to come check it out. I felt really passionate last week when we were launching the circle, or reopening the circle, to make it as accessible to as many women as possible during these times, and humans. It's really open for everybody. So whatever gender you are, whatever sexual orientation, wherever you are age-wise, everyone is welcome. All genders, you are welcome. If you are wanting to deepen into the Warrior Goddess teachings, we gotcha. It's the place to do it, is in the circle. We've been just such an amazing community. So again, free through November 1st. Come try it out. warriorgoddess.com/circle. I teach every Wednesdays. And there's also other like bonus classes throughout the week. So there's a lot of different places to plug in, both to the live and the recordings. All right, loves, I am off. This is so fun. So what am I doing next? Let me tell you. I'm part of an organization called the Global Firewalking Association, firewalk instructors from around the world. It's really an amazing organization. I've been doing firewalks. I've been leading firewalks for almost 30 years now. And I train firewalk instructors as well, as do all my colleagues. And we are doing our first ever summit that's just for firewalk instructors. It's only for members of this other Global Firewalking Association. So I'm heading off to that right now. Super excited about it. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, right here, wherever you're tuning in from, 7 a.m. Los Angeles, 10 a.m. New York, 3 p.m. London. We will be reading Warrior Goddess Training, either myself or one of our mentors. And for those of you that are just joining or want to know, page 64, where we'll be continuing from page 64. All my love, sweet ones, take good care. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.